Schools facing closure.
Our principals were saying things to us like, everybody's nervous about who's next.
Jeffco revealing plans to shutter more than a dozen elementary schools.
This is not easy for any of us. I don't want to close any schools.
Tonight, we're going in depth. The schools on the chopping block and why the district's numbers are dwindling despite the county's growing population.
The enrollment at our schools is a pain point on an almost daily basis.
A life cut short by violence.
She knew everyone.
And tonight, loved ones remember a Denver woman lost to a stray bullet.
She wasn't just friends to the Burmese community, she was friends to the seniors, she was friends to like everybody.
Major changes could be in store for one of Colorado's largest school districts.
Jeffco Public Schools revealing today a proposal to close 16 elementary schools.
And doing so would impact nearly 2,500 students and more than 400 full-time staff.
And this all has to do with declining enrollment. The district says it has lost more than 5,000 students between 2019 and this year.
Denver 7's Bayan Wang taking us in depth, hearing from school district leaders about the plan to close the schools and also why the district is seeing enrollment dwindle. Bayan?
Yeah, guys, they're telling me this is no easy decision, but it's one that they have to make now before matters get even worse, specifically with budgets and providing the resources each student needs to thrive in the classroom.
We started to become very concerned about several elementary schools that seem to be dropping drastically in enrollment.
That's why Jeffco Public Schools announced Thursday that getting rid of some of those elementary schools is the only solution to address the lack of resources and special programs hindering student growth.
We recommended the closure of 16 of our elementary schools.
Lisa Relu is the district's chief of strategy and communications. She says more than 2,400 students will be impacted. They will join one of 17 other schools in the district in the consolidation process. 5 district center programs that serve students who have additional need will also move.
We have gotten to situations where, schools no longer have full-time art, music, and PE teachers.
Relu says this all comes down to declining enrollment rates. Since 2001, the district has seen fewer students each consecutive year. Currently, the district can serve 96,000 students, but only 69,000 are enrolled. Part of that decline has to do with the declining birth rate, among other factors.
Our community has changed. There's fewer inventory of homes for young families and affordable homes for young families. The cost of living, I think, in Jefferson County has definitely impacted our situation with declining enrollment.
The recommended closures mean not all of the 480 full-time staff members will keep their jobs. It's unclear how many.
The fact of the matter here, though, is there's going to be some school staff and teachers who lose their job.
Yes, I don't think there's any way to get around the fact that we cannot, when you have fewer schools, you need fewer staff. But we're hopeful that we can retain as many people as possible.
Now, the school board will vote on these recommended closures on November 10th. If it passes, the closures will take effect in the next school year. For a full list of the possible school closures, you can visit our website, thedenverchannel.com. In studio, Bayan Wang, Denver 7.
All right, Bayan, thank you. And continuing our in-depth coverage, numbers provided by the district show Jeffco's population increased by nearly 5,600 people between 2000 and 2020. However, during that same time period, the number of school-aged children in the county fell by nearly 30,000. And among the contributing factors, as Bayan mentioned, declining birth rates. Now, the district says the under 5 population in the county has decreased, with 2020 marking the lowest number of births recorded in 15 years.
And going further in depth now, dwindling student numbers and the possibility of closing schools are not unique to Jeffco. In January, Denver Public Schools formed a declining enrollment advisory committee to create recommendations on how the district should address the issue. The plan is for the district to review those recommendations to identify, possibly close or consolidate schools that are struggling with low enrollment. The district has not provided a timeline for when those decisions would be made. However, officials have said in the past that any closures would not impact schools until the 2024-25 school year. And speaking of DPS, the district and the Denver Classroom Teachers Association, they're wrapping up a third straight day of bargaining. Teachers are asking for a starting salary of $55,000 a year, cost of living increases, a stipend for serving on school committees, along with extra duty compensation. The two sides have less than a week now before the teachers' current contract expires.
New details expected tomorrow in the FBI search at former President Trump's South Florida estate. A federal judge is ordering the Justice Department to release a redacted version of the affidavit that led to the search at Mar-a-Lago. That document must be released by 10 a.m. Friday, that's our time, unless the DOJ appeals. FBI agents earlier this month recovered 27 boxes of material from Trump's home, including 11 sets of classified documents. The former president has denied any wrongdoing. Now, media groups, including Denver 7's parent company Scripps, petitioned for the affidavit's release, citing the unprecedented search of the home of a former president. Now, the Justice Department argued that unsealing the documents, though, could hurt its investigation. A blow to the defense of Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters. Deputy Clerk Belinda Knisely has agreed to testify against Peters. Under a plea deal, Knisely pleads guilty to several charges, including official misconduct. She will serve 2 years probation and 150 hours of community service. Now, in exchange, she'll cooperate with investigators. Knisely and Peters were both indicted this year on charges of tampering with the county's election equipment. Peters is facing 11 criminal charges and is barred from contacting employees at her office.
An Aurora City Councilwoman is leading a class action lawsuit against the Arapahoe County Department of Human Services and the ex-partner of former police chief Vanessa Wilson. Robin Nacita, a former Arapahoe County DHS employee, was charged earlier this year with falsely reporting sexual abuse allegations against Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky. The FBI is now also investigating Nacita for allegations that children were wrongly taken away from several other parents as a result of her actions.
What I have quickly found out is what happened to me is not an isolated incident at all. And I will go as far as to say that I believe at this point there is an equitable evil that is plaguing Arapahoe County DHS.
Nacita resigned from her position before she was charged. Colorado's Department of Human Services is now looking into potential fraud and child safety concerns at Arapahoe County DHS. A spokesperson for the county agency says they are confident in their ability to protect kids from abuse and neglect, and they go on to say that the allegations filed in the complaint draw conclusions without citing factual specifics.
A man accused in a bias-motivated attack at an Aurora gas station tonight is in custody. Aurora police say Rene Kassam was arrested yesterday afternoon. Now, victims told investigators last month Kassam attacked them for speaking Spanish. He doused one of them with gasoline, tried to set him on fire. He also threw a rock through the victim's car window and stole his keys. Denver 7 has also learned that Kassam is accused of pulling a knife on a man the day after that attack and told the victim to speak English.
He started cursing and told me to get out of the car, and he told me to speak English. It was something disgusting, you know. I feel disgusted by this fact.
Kassam is facing dozens of charges, including assault and multiple counts of harassment. And today, a judge set his bond at $150,000.
Food trucks are coming back to Denver's lower downtown with some changes. Denver officials say starting tomorrow, food trucks with permits will be allowed to operate in the area you see in blue between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. There will be 3 spots on Market Street, 4 spots on Blake, where trucks with special permits can stay open until midnight. Those are the marks you see there in yellow. Now, the city barred food trucks from LoDo late last month to increase safety in the area, and that followed the police shooting that injured 6 bystanders near 20th and Larimer, although the city says that shooting did not factor into its decision. We talked to vendors last week who said even if the city lifted the ban, the damage had already been done.
It's still, even if it's until midnight, it's still, it's got, we're not going to make the money that I used to make.
The new food truck rules are temporary. They will be in effect for the next 180 days.
Residents of Denver's East Colfax neighborhood are honoring a woman killed by a stray bullet.
Ma Kaing was shot and killed last month just outside her apartment building. She came to Denver as a refugee from Myanmar many years ago.
As Denver 7's CB Cotton shows us, money is being raised for the refugee community she was so passionate about.
So many have gathered in this pavilion, but everyone says there's still a missing presence.
She was friends to like everybody.
Ma Kaing was friends with everyone in her community. She died back in mid-July after witnesses say she was shot and killed by a stray bullet outside her Denver apartment complex Hiddenbrook.
There's still a lot of sadness for people.
Thursday, those who knew her, including Laura Fry, know exactly where Kaing would have been this evening.
For sure she would have been here with us.
Fry and others who've gathered are raising funds for Hope Communities. Since 1980, the nonprofit has offered affordable housing and support for Denver's refugees. Kaing had been living in one of the nonprofit's properties until her passing.
And it's a really big hole that she left. I mean, she'd lived at Hiddenbrook for 15 years. She knew everyone.
At Thursday's fundraiser for Hope Communities, Muhammad Abdullahi.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Hopes people will donate in Kaing's honor.
Hope Community helped me a lot.
Abdullahi came to the States as a refugee in 2017. He remembers the challenges and the way the nonprofit helped him.
It's very hard because you don't know the language, you don't know the culture, you don't know the city, and everything if it's for you is new.
In 2021, the nonprofit says it served nearly 2,000 clients, a 30% increase from the year prior. Tonight's donations will go towards Hope Communities' various programs that help refugee families with everyday tasks.
Do they need help filling out like a school application, like registering for school? Do they need help with their SNAP applications? Do they need help getting an appointment to get a passport?
Or towards programs that help refugees pursue citizenship.
Right now I'm U.S. citizen.
The nonprofit helped Abdullahi fulfill his dreams, and now everyone gathered hopes it will continue helping others, like Kaing would have wanted.
She really had a broad reach within the community.
In Denver, I'm CB Cotton, Denver 7.
And Metro Denver Crime Stoppers is offering a reward for information leading to an arrest in Ma Kaing's case. The number is 720-913-7867. It's on your screen there. You can stay anonymous.
Well, Coloradans now will have the option to disclose any disability information on their driver's license. The Colorado DMV says this will let first responders know the license holder has a non-apparent disability that could affect their ability to communicate, including cognitive, neurological, and physical disabilities. So anyone who wants this identifier will submit a form to the DMV signed by a doctor. There's also an option to add it to your vehicle registration as well.
Ready to go.
I just want to prove that I still got it.
Broncos receiver KJ Hamler talks exclusively to Denver 7 Sports as he prepares for his first game in 11 months.
And a new Instagram feature causing a stir and worries about safety.